Hey guys, welcome back to this recap here for the Tuesday, and it's kind of what happened. It was kind of a boring Tuesday, not a lot going on. The price did kind of move up, but it did get a lot of whipsaw at the beginning, and we're kind of going to see that right now to really look at the market is because the attitude of the market kind of is still down. Is kind of that's the typical kind of recovering area that we were kind of talking about. It did bounce on the weekly low when it closed, and obviously now we're starting to recover. Now, are we in full recovery? No, I mean, we still have to get above that 90,000. Right now, you could kind of call that this little week is going to just do a dead cat bounce idea. It's just going to go up and hit the major kind of that support area, or used to be support that's now resistance, and then you're going to see a breakdown. Maybe, and what we wanted to do though is get through that major area and start to build up. So let's jump into the price action here and take a look at some of this. You can kind of see it right here is on today's price action. We do have support and resistance lines that we draw on the chart. You do have your weekly volume area low here. Here's your point of control from this last week's candle, and here is your volume area high. You can see that we traded off of the volume area low up into the point of control. This is a weekly candle that it ran off of, so it's not a lot of movement really in this. You can see that it's really trying to just build a base here. We could turn that off just to clean up the lines. You do have your 200 moving on here in your 15-minute and your 21 simple moving average on here as well. Then you have a bunch of kind of lines, if you will. This is your 30-minute candle. This is what's strange, and I would say be careful right now. This could have broke down and took off, but this is where you're going to kind of see that V-shaped kind of recovery that it was in, mainly because this is where this kind of fell out, and yet the sellers didn't take it. Mainly because you have a bigger area of support right down around here in this area that we've been talking about. This is what that blue dash line is kind of talking about. Then you had your breakdown trigger right here and your 15-minute kind of open candle, high and low through here. So you're looking for is a close outside of this. You can see from on this close, it went ahead and ran up, but your bigger time frames are still looking pretty sad. And reason is because we're underneath the 200, and at the time we were underneath the 1 hour 21. So we were sitting down here in kind of that bearish territory. Now you can see this is kind of building, and this is where, trend lines and things that people draw on here are rough, right? Because if you turn around and said, okay, well, here's the 1 hour, well, price action already faked you out, right? This is back on Sunday's bottom close, and then here's your Monday's price action, and then you lost it all, rejected it here, right? Came back down, and then ripped back up. So this right here was, if you're going to say, hey, well, sellers, are you going to take it out? This is kind of the area that you would expect them to break and head back down if it was going to take out this lower area. They tried on Monday. They tried on Tuesday. They made a higher high on Monday from Sunday, and then here we are again. They're making another higher high on Tuesday. So now this was rough, but you double bottomed right there. You basically sat on a volume area low. It's not a big surprise. That's your weekly volume area low that it's sitting in. So it's not a big surprise for it to bounce there and kind of build that strength. And it is showing that it looks like it wants to push on out of here. And if I was going to start looking at this a lot stronger, that's what I need to see. Right now, the 4 hour, same thing. You have a flat kind of 200, almost still kind of pushing up. And now you have the 21 coming underneath for price action lift. That's what we need to see. We lost it right through here on Saturday. We ripped down and we came right back. And really, when you're looking at this 4 hour, it's really just stacking. So that bottom is pretty strong, and you could pretty much just say, hey, well, I'm going to get in. I'm going to pretty much say we're going to hold that bottom there, and we're going to rip up to what? We know it's going to want to come back up to that 95, 96 level, and there's just a big trade for you to look at. And that's kind of what's been playing out in a bigger picture. So, and when you're looking at the bigger time frame, they start to level out a little more. You start to get a little clearer picture. This still is rough, though, trying to connect dots, if you will, connect candles. And so This isn't my style, but I know a lot of people like to do this and makes them feel good to put lines on charts. But you know, yeah, there is a trend. You know, is this what kind of recovery? We obviously came down. It tried to do the same thing here, rejected. It's going to do the same thing here. We're coming right back up into this sweet spot. We want to see this kind of clear back up through here and take out this area and show some strength in this area. I know a lot of people are saying here was the wreck. It didn't take it though, right? Right here was the same kind of flag. It ripped down. It could have taken it. It didn't. Now we're rebuilding back up. Like we're looking on the lower time frames, it could have ripped it up there too. So that's just a 4 hour. I'm just kind of walking through some of this to kind of see where we're at. Now, if we get back above this 21, now we're kind of back in that neutral area, and we can go ahead and get back up to this 200. And I'm looking at my 22 hour, a lot of times on BTC, that's critical. If things are, whatever kind of happens on this chart, typically will bleed into the daily as well. So let's see if we can get above this key area right now is right around the point of control for the week. It's kind of sitting there right now. Let's see if we can go ahead and take it. And it's pretty amazing when you start zooming further and further out, you know, just how much simpler things are starting to look. And we could see this go ahead and rip out of here. Well, we'll just have to watch and see. But that's kind of what I am starting to look for. The daily has been showing kind of softness. It could trade down here. It's sitting right where it needs to do to trade. It's kind of sideways. It's been doing that for a while. You can see, you know, repeats itself right here, and same thing continues to kind of repeat that same behavior in this key area. So if we go back into price action today, and the reason why I kind of pointed some of that out, so you have it in the back of your mind when you're trading, you want to go out and understand some of that. So you can make some trades. And you might say, well, today is choppy. Yeah, it is. And the reason why is because your bigger time frames aren't ready to run yet, right? They're not letting it go. The market's in a macro bull run. It's in a macro bull behavior, but it's in a micro bear behavior. And it's starting to show that shift out of that, and it wants to start going back into the micro bull run, if you will, which will be part of the larger. And of course, when those two match, that's when you get the movement. And when they're against each other, you're not going to really get the push unless the macro gets shifted. And regardless, we're not really there yet, obviously, to shift it. We still have to stay bullish. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the price action, and why you would want to stay back is mainly because you had a 4 hour and a 1 hour. They were fighting against each other. One said it wants to go kind of push up for today. The other one said, no, I don't want to do that. And you're kind of coming down in here and seeing the fight right through here on your support and resistance areas and your breakout triggers. So for me, you know, when this kind of stuff sets up, it's better just to stay away from the market. That's kind of the cleanest way to trade. And you just kind of learn, like, hey, you know, it's going to fight today. I don't want to be part of the fight. I'm going to wait for them to settle, and then we'll get some more clarity, and then we'll take advantage of that trade. If somebody was really wanting to be aggressive and you wanted to just say, okay, I'm just going to trade for today, the sad thing is you would have taken losses with that attitude. If you tried to push the shorts for today, there is your close. Or if let's actually go to the 5 minute before I say that. So once you kind of have everything all marked up, the best thing is look for execution. In my case, I always look for the 5 minute, and that's always been pretty good. So here is your first close. This second candle, the one thing you want to look for is a little more confirmation, especially when you're looking at these kind of days. So right here, you can see that the candle wicked down or came down, and let's look at the close. So the close on this candle was 87,591. The open on this candle was 87,591. Or what did I say the close was on this? Yeah, yeah. So they opened and closed right next to each other. What you wanted to see is this come back down this way. So we needed to see this actually come down, and that's where you'd want to start looking at it. What I would see, I guess, to look at this is you'd want to see this kind of come down and fill that in, and like kind of fill this circle, and you want to get that close down below here. it could have easily, the next candle could have kind of bounced. The one thing is you do have this right here as well. So I would have been looking more for a close in this area to take this trade. So that would have kept you out of that one. This one over here, you would have got in regardless because it did exactly what you kind of needed to do. But let's go ahead and say like, okay, well, it's going to go long. You needed to break above the first line here on the 15. Then you want to make sure you're on the breakout. So here's your 15 or 5-minute candle close. And you're thinking, okay, this is looking pretty good. It did exactly what I was referring to, right? It didn't just open. It opened and went straight up. So the sad thing is you would have been looking at purchasing this up here at the top of the space. And you really would have wanted to say, okay, well, if I'm already up here, it's probably going to do this wick back and I can take a trade. Well, everything's already exhausted on you on the RSI. That doesn't necessarily mean it can't trade and hold here, but you would want to kind of watch it. But regardless, that I wouldn't have blamed somebody for getting into that. Of course, it came down and would have taken them out. Then you're sitting in this space again. This is the classic same move right here, right? Came down, open. You didn't get any movement down, pushed up. That's what it kept you away from that. And then it did that reversal right here. This is where you could have kind of started to get excited, but you needed this candle to close through. The sad thing is you're already, again, exhausted, waiting for it to reverse and set up. This actually looked pretty promising of starting to build that promise here, and then it just, ripped up. And then started to recover. Once you got this cross, if you got into that as well, once you got this cross, this is a full exit for sure for me. And then you can see that it just went. When I say a full exit too, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go flip it and go long, because we're in this market of choppy anyway. So I'm just kind of walking through price action with you. And you can see why it's so frustrating, because when you should be taking trades and when things are kind of presenting that opportunity, you can always hear people always will tell you stuff kind of like what I'm almost doing here of like, oh, well, you got to wait for this candle body to do this, wait for that candle body to do that. But that's not really necessarily that helpful. You can see the behaviors that I'm bringing right through here. This would have helped you stay away from it. That would have helped you stay away from it. This would have been, okay, you're looking at confirmation. This was kind of that same way. It was starting to show strength in here, and it rolled over on you. The only thing is you would have been thinking about is that longer time frame. That's why I pointed out earlier. Of course, when you got it back above this area, again, it's kind of like right here. It's going to push. You're right here back above it. It's going to push. You just don't know where it's going to go. That's why you can't just take that as a trade. But typically, when you see this is when you want to exit for sure. That's why we use the 5-minute 21. Then it went ahead and ran up, and then there was your exit up there, which is right at your daily resistance originally, which now is sitting on support the rest of the day. So you might be like, oh, well, what did you end up doing? I did end up getting into a trade right here, and I took a loss in it because I was actually trading this break it down. Because the market itself right now is still in a trend of bearish. So I was looking at taking that because we already got this rejection here. And we were through all the major headaches. We got through the daily support, and we got through the 2 breakdown areas, and we made it through the volume area low. So that's definitely was like, okay, it's time to start taking price action into possibility of going in the direction. Obviously it rejected, and the bull said, hey, we're going to run this today, and they took over. You are fairly late in the afternoon or in the mid trading day, so again, most of the price action was kind of just choppy. But that's it. Walking through the price action with you guys, looking at the higher time frames. Let's go ahead and see if we can start getting some strength in some price action here, really start getting some better calls here in the longer time frame, start getting some better strength here in the 4-hour, and we can start getting a little more excited for getting those breakouts and start getting some real good movement again and stop dealing with some of this chop. So, all right, guys, I'll let you go, and we'll see you guys in the next recap. Talk to you soon.